Welcome back to Poverty Chef, everybody. Today we'll be discussing being gay, or rather, gay pride. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and get ready for some controversy. Let's get into it. Like a dress on drag night. I want to start with some historical context. Homosexuality is about as old as mankind itself, probably older. In ancient Greece, particularly ancient Sparta, but also in other cities as well, homosexuality was common. The Spartans, specifically, a people who I absolutely love everything about, were encouraged to have gay sex as a means of bonding with fellow citizens. If you have sex with somebody, this enhances the love that you have for them. And if you love someone, you'll be less likely to abandon them on the battlefield and more likely to put your neck on the line for them. This mutual investment led troops like the Spartan and Theban hoplites to be absolutely revered on the battlefield. Not revered because they're having gay sex. Revered because they are so capable and willing to defend one another. In a way, you could say homosexuality was almost a necessity. Like condoms during a orgy with strangers. That was a rough joke. I wasn't sure if I was going to make that one, but let's do it. Let's fucking do it. The Romans were no less shy about their homosexuality, about their sexuality, and it seems to me to even be a sign of masculinity to be able to take another man or to be able to tolerate the potential pain. Not that I know how it feels. Gay sex in Rome was far less structured, but no less welcome than with the Spartans. However, something would change all of this. Something so big and drastic that we ended up naming our calendars with it. It's the rise of Christianity. Now, I'm not sure when homophobia in the West started exactly, but I doubt it was sudden as the birth of Christ. Rather, I would guess the sentiment against homosexuality began to rise well after the wide acceptance of Christianity across Europe, and I believe it came in response to the times. Toward the final death throes of the Byzantines, you could call them the latter-day Romans, the rise of Islam was putting immense strain on the populations of Europe. There was a lot of wars going on at the time. This is where we started getting our Crusades. Well, not quite yet, but the Crusades come soon after this. Right along the colossal struggle between Islam and Christendom, the Black Plague consumed Eurasia and killed at least a third of the population. Now, if the Black Plague had chose to swallow Europe, it would have killed the entire population. That's another rough joke. Oh, man. Okay, let's keep pushing. Excuse me. Now, gay men are completely capable of having children, but naturally, they're not attracted to women and thus naturally do not breed often. It's the same for gay women. So at the time, I can imagine the Catholic Church sitting down and saying, how do we fix the population problem throughout Christendom? Make more babies. And this, I believe, is where homophobia really starts to take hold in the West. What followed is centuries of gays being burned at the stake, being stoned to death, criminalized, and imprisoned. All to encourage breeding to fix a temporary problem of low population. But this creates the same problem I see with an abortion ban. I believe parenting instincts and homosexuality have a genetic component. Excuse me, man, why does it always get that, phlegm in my throat when I start recording an episode? And, oh man, another throat joke is coming. I hear it. I can feel it. But I believe that parenting instincts, the instinct to provide for a child and to even want a child, and homosexuality all have a genetic component. Obviously, the medieval Europeans would not have understood this, and obviously the environment probably plays a role in the development of parenting and wanting children and being homosexual, but I absolutely believe there is a genetic component. And like when you force non-maternal women to have children, if you force gays to act heterosexual and to have children, you're spreading those genetics. Since you hate both groups, it would make sense that you would accept that it was genetic and then let them do as they do, which would naturally stop the spread of that gene flow. And this is favorable, to everybody involved. In essence, you kill two stones with one bird. You let people live the lives they want, limit the numbers of gays and non-maternals in the future. Everyone is happy, there's no executions, no arguing, and we all get along. It's pretty simple. Now, it sounds a lot like genocide, but that's a little bit different. You're not intentionally wiping them out, you're just letting nature sort itself out. Extremely non-reproductive people, and any organism, just doesn't reproduce. That's really what existence boils down to for living things. Now, is this going to happen? Are we going to let people live and be live? No. Are you going to listen to me? I hope so, but like the girl I'm dating, you're probably not going to listen. People are wired to seek out control. It's how we feel comfortable in a scary existence where in a heartbeat, some drunk asshole in a Subaru can make everything you built, your life, career, family, education, never have mattered. We seek control because at a moment's notice, something outside our control can happen and end everything we know, flip our world upside down, and ruin everything we've worked so hard for. And sometimes this need for control manifests as telling other people they can't terminate a pregnancy, or telling others they can't marry another consenting adult. What about the dark side of homosexuality? Is there a dark side? Let's find out. I often hear from fellow Republicans that there is a gay agenda. Sure, some gays may want to recruit others to become gay, but this gets back into the control that I just mentioned. There is even a fetish in the gay community of finding a heterosexual person willing to intimately explore homosexuality. But most know that it doesn't work that way. Why would anyone choose to be gay in a world where gays are routinely harassed and killed for being gay? I don't think anybody would. Nobody willingly chooses to be a pedophile. Why is that? It's because pedophiles get treated like shit. And gays get treated like shit, so why would we choose one? So it just does not make sense to me that somebody would, 1, choose to be gay, 2, choose to actively recruit others to be gay, and 3, be willing to be recruited. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. I'm slurring my words. I'm not drunk, I promise. Now, do gays look like they have an agenda? Absolutely. Since the Democrats found democratic strength in accepting anyone and everyone who's not a Republican, it is a natural fit for gays to side with them. However, the caveat is that everybody who sides with Democrats now appear to be an extension of the Democratic agenda, which is varied and devious and in appearance and is a topic for a different video. And I'm not saying that Republicans are free of having their own agendas. Everybody has one. Whew. Just got messages from that person I mentioned earlier that won't listen to me. And, oh man, it's, get those emotions going, you know? Now, it's hard for people to take the Goalback community seriously. And I call them the Goalback community because it means gay, omnisexual, lesbian, bisexual, asexual, and transgender. It's more inclusive, and it's a lot easier to just say Goalbat than that jumble of letters I'm expected to use. LGBTQ, LGBTQ+, LGBTQR. Like, no, just stop adding letters and stop using that cop-out plus at the end. We know who you're referring to, is everybody that's not heterosexual. I can't help but be happy. I'm sorry. As a member of that community, I can't help but be happy that my fellow men and women are happy to be who they are and living the lives that makes them happy. But at the same time, massive, double pun intended, I don't need your ideas or sexuality being shoved down my throat repeatedly until you're satisfied and I'm gasping for air with smeared mascara. It's hard for people to take the Goalback community seriously when we push our identities onto others, telling people to accept us, that they have to like us. It doesn't work that way. Most people want to leave alone and be left alone. And if someone doesn't like you for being gay, so fucking what? Be you. Don't ever forget that pride in yourself to be strong enough to come out of the closet. You knew what you were doing. You knew people wouldn't like you. And that's what made you strong. I'm bisexual. I get told all the time that being bi isn't a real thing. I must be confused. I must be in denial about one or the other. And I don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand that I can like peanut butter and jelly. Put both on my toast, man. Let's do this. My point here is that even though I look like a heterosexual white male, I understand what my community members go through. And I'm sympathetic. But 2 wrongs don't always make a right, just like 2 condoms don't always make safe sex. It's foolish and dangerous to push your ideas on other people who do not like them, but want to leave you alone. Don't go kicking hornets' nests, is all that I'm saying. Another note is I saw a video recently of a child dancing seductively at a pride parade. This makes me sick. The Goalback community has tried so hard to distance itself from pedophilia, yet the adults in some of these parades are allowing some heinous forms of expression for Goalback children and teens. And that is not healthy. There's a reason we don't have children do this kind of stuff in heterosexual communities. And for the record, that Toddlers and Tiaras show, also aberrant. I would never air that filth on my network. It is not healthy for the mental development of kids. They should be playing and learning, not being pressured to be attractive or expressive, or pressured to be something they are not. No child should be forced to be hetero or homosexual. No kid should even be worrying about that. Let it develop naturally as it will during the teen and young adult years. And on a final note, sometimes I like to say things are gay that I don't like. But like many words, it has multiple meanings. When I say something's retarded, I'm not equating that thing to an autistic person. Same way when I say something is gay, I'm not saying that it is homosexual. This is a complicated thing, and I've got a lot of thoughts on it, but I'm going to stop right here. And so let me know in the comments what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? What did I miss? And have a great day. Don't forget to comment and argue and fight, because I know you will.